This is Janice Spainhour at Price Realtors, and I'm here today with Misty Whitman and Samantha Smith from Citron and Whitman. And we are talking about Misty's magic sheet. It has to do with getting your house in order. Not necessarily for death, but while we're living. And while things could go wrong or we could not be found somewhere, somebody needs to know how to access our stuff.
And what to do.
Yes.
So as Janice and I were talking, and Sam, about, having your affairs in order, I had relayed to her a situation where I had a client years ago that asked me to serve as her agent and help her because she did not have any kids, she didn't have any family around. And I agreed, and I had told her I needed all this information and a house key. And prior to giving me that, but after she signed the power of attorney, she had a stroke that left her unable to speak or write. So I had no idea what bills needed to be paid. I didn't even know where she banked. I didn't know what her assets were. I knew nothing. But thankfully, she was older. This was a few years ago. And we weren't really in the digital age as much. And so I literally waited by the mailbox every day and checked her mail. And I was able to discern what I needed to know from checking her mail. Well, now the majority of folks, especially younger folks, they don't get a lot of mail. Everything is done digitally. Everything is electronic delivery. And so if something happens, you're not going to know. So say, for instance, you are a young professional in your mid-30s. Maybe you're not married, and everything comes in your world, it's very fast-paced, it's going, and all of a sudden you have a car accident, and you're unconscious in the hospital for 2 months. Someone needs to be able to step into your life to keep your life going. How does that work? How does that happen?
How would it? My passwords.
Well, what you hope is that you have been responsible, and when you turned 18 or shortly thereafter, you met with an estate planning attorney and you took some basic steps, and one of the things that you would have gotten would have been a power of attorney. And that power of attorney designates someone, maybe your mom, maybe your good friend, but designates someone with the responsibility to act on your behalf. So, okay, you've got somebody with the authority to act on your behalf, but your question's valid. What about the passwords if everything's digital? So that's where we came up with Misty's Magic Sheet. And I just kept referring it as that to my clients. And then one day I had a client that said, I need this magic sheet. And I said, yes, you do. And you can create it. And it needs to be a sheet where you have listed out, your basic assets. This is where I bank. I've got a couple of accounts there. Here's my contact person. And update your username and password and keep that information. Now, is it a good idea to keep this stored on your computer that you have to have a password to get into? No, you need to print out a copy and have it in a safe place in your home that your trusted contact knows where that's at.
So you are saying that we really should use that piece of paper and write it down.
If you type it, print it, but you can use a piece of paper and write it down. So people will have access to your records and know what they need to do. Sam, do you see that with your clients as well?
Oh, most definitely, and especially, as the digital world is growing, social media especially is continuing to grow. It is definitely, you don't always think about keeping up with passwords, especially because a lot of times passwords are saved in your computer until it comes time where somebody needs to get into that information. So.
Well, and even simple things, like I unfortunately had a 20-something-year-old pass away, and her mother wanted to have access to get a copy of everything that was on her Facebook account because there's memories, there's photos. And she did not have the ability to do that because she did not have anything in place to deal with those digital assets. So she was going to have to petition the court and do all these kinds of things. Whereas if she had had a couple of simple documents in place that gave her the authority to do that, and of course if she had just written down the username and password, it would have made it much easier. But even so, just having a few documents in place makes such a big deal. And so there are ways and things that you can do that make a huge difference in your life. And it's funny, when I was talking to my mother about this, I was telling my mother that with the lady that I was using as an example, that, I had to kind of go through her drawers looking for things to figure out. And my mother looked at me and she goes, do not go through my drawers. And I said, well, Mom, if you don't want me to go through your doors, you're gonna have to make sure your things are in order. And she said, book me an appointment, I'm coming up. And so, you know, you don't really want people digging through your things. Imagine if you are on your way to work and you have a wreck and suddenly you're not able to handle your own affairs. Somebody is going to be in your home going through the motions as you. So if you make it easy for them to go through the motions as you, then they're less likely to be going through your things. So have everything in place that they know, okay, she's got a mortgage due on the 1st to this bank, it's this amount, she pays it online, here's the username and password. Her average power bill is $200 to Duke Energy. Also, when looking at those things, it'll be very easy to tell if there's fraud being committed somewhere or if anything's unusual or out of the ordinary because they've got your magic sheet. So your magic sheet really should kind of be like your monthly budget plus your assets and your information. So protect your magic sheet, but update it. Keep it updated, keep it current, and make sure that your trusted contact, whoever that may be, has that information. And it's beneficial if I know who your trusted contact is, if I'm gonna keep the sheet, because then I can say, you're the trusted contact, here's all the information, this is what you need to do. So just a little bit of planning makes everything so much better.
So in getting our houses in order, we really do need to have a person that knows all our stuff, or maybe two.
Trusted contacts.
Yeah, trusted contacts and a magic sheet.
And a lot of people are hesitant to do these things because they think it's very expensive. Proper estate planning is not very expensive. It really isn't. And you need a good estate planning attorney and an elder law attorney. It's nice to have both so that they understand how to plan for long-term care planning and they understand how to do your current planning. It is not an expensive endeavor, and it's something that you're much better off to get these things in order now.
So if we want to make an appointment for estate planning, we want to talk about all these things and getting our legal things in order, we just need to call, make an appointment for a consultation.
Yes, you can go online, you can call, you can set up an appointment to come in for a consultation. Allie in our office will be happy to do that, and she's going to send out either electronically or direct you to our website where you can get access to the forms, or she's going to mail them for elderly folks that don't like the digital world or people that just don't like the digital world. She'll mail them out and you'll complete those forms and bring them in. And don't worry if the forms are not fully complete. I get that all the time.
Sometimes we don't know the answers.
That's right. The purpose of the forms is to jar your mind and make you think. Even if we have to get through filling in all the information together, you would be amazed at the people that go, I forgot about that life insurance policy that my mom got me when I was a little kid. That doesn't matter, does it? Well, do you want your children to have to open an estate for a $500 life insurance policy, or are we going to make the phone call and get the beneficiary updated? So it's just to spur these thoughts through your head because you're getting your house in order. It helps you get your house in order.
Information. Thank you, Misty and Sam, so much for coming today and giving us good information. So if you want to call and make an appointment with Citron and Whitman, and they will help you get your house in order. They will give you all the legal information that you need, and you will have peace of mind and be able to leave your kids without the burden of worrying about all these things. And in case something happens before you die, even you have an accident and just are out of commission for a little while, somebody will know how to find your stuff, and that's important.
Very important.
So thank you guys for coming, and we have appreciated the information.
Absolutely.
And we might have another session later if
Okay.
we have questions. Thank you.